Hi guys and welcome. Today we're going to be making some layered tags, and I just got this stamp set by Elizabeth Crafts Designs. It's number CS364 called Textures, and I really like this one here. So I do have these in my shop, guys, if you really like it and wanted one, and I'll link that below. It's Shazart Crafts. So I'm going to take this textured one off, and I like these other ones too, but let's just play with this one initially. Just gonna grab a stamp block. Now, because these are new Elizabeth Crafts, they're such good quality, they're quite sticky to start with. I just use a little bit of oil out of your skin, and then you might just have to do a couple of sample stamps. So grab some scrap cardstock. I've got a bit of a cough, so excuse me if that gets annoying for you guys. I have been up all night with it, so it's one of those things that just hang on. So I'm just looking to use this stamp in a number of ways today. So I've got these store-bought tags. Usually I make my own, but I did a bit of a clean-up the other day and come across these. So I thought, well, we might play with these. I'm going to use VersaFine Clear as well as archival inks. I find my black one. So it's going to be a bit like that, I think, for a while. You know how you build up like a muscle memory, knowing where the stuff is on your table. Then, because I've moved things around, I tried to get prepared for today and pull out what I thought I was going to make or use. And I'm using archival as well. Also some Distress Oxides, Walnut Stain, my favourite, as well as Scorched Timber. That's what I've got on my desk so far. I've got a tub of tags here beside me, and I've got some Tim Holtz thoughts or sayings, and then beside me I have my scrap bin and some textures as well. So let's see what we can come up with all of those goodies. And I do need a stamp off page, which I will just use this one. So I'm just going to put that down off to the side a bit. Plus it helps protect your desk. Got a relatively new mat under here, and I'm trying as hard as I can to keep it somewhat clean, but you know, after each craft session there's always some marks on there as well. So I'm going to pop that away there. All right, so let's go with the first one. The first one I wanted to do a little bit of background stamping, and I thought I'll use the Walnut Stain. And I'm going to stamp off one and then stamp on two, and I'm just building up some textures basically is all I'm doing here. We are going to be putting some stuff over the top. Now I've stamped off twice there just to get a more faded look to fill in any blanks. So that's what we've got there. I do want to ink around the edge. Again with Walnut Stain, so we're working with the same colour. So we've got a beautiful textured background there. Now we want to put some layers down. So this is like a handmade paper. Absolutely love it. And I probably want something under that because I don't want to cover that one up too much. I've got some, these are just, I've stamped on a book page, so they're just stamping done on some scraps, and I'm going to tear that edge. And tear that one. These ones won't be too, they're going to be covered over anyway. So see how we're building up the layers, and we're also building up the textures. So we've got a relatively plain one there, and then we've got a patterned one here, which is just a stamped image on some book page. And I do that a fair bit. If I've got scraps lying on my desk, when you've got a stamp out and it's already dirty with ink, then do some stamping off and put it in your scrap bin, because you just never know when you're going to use it. Maybe I want that one up there because I'm going to have something down the bottom there, or something down the middle there. I might glue those in. So I'll grab both my glue stick and my art glitter. The base pages, I'll use my glue stick. And this one, it's very creamy. I'm working out how to use it in that not to put too much pressure on, like the other clear one that I'm used to. Both the Yoo-Hoo, but this one's, you can actually see where you've glued, so it's good in that sense, and it dries clear. Now I'm going for maybe a little bit of green. Actually, no, I like this. Bit of ledger. And I'm just going to tear a thin line down the side there, because I like the numbers on this one. I'm just eyeballing, I'm not really measuring too much at all, so I like that. I like that it's got a pattern on it, but I want it relatively plainish. I may even, no, I don't want to shorten it up, so I'm going to ink it. Actually, maybe I do want to shorten it up a little bit, because I was thinking something along the bottom. But no, let's leave it at that. Got a bit of twine here. It's just waxed cotton that I use to bind journals with. And this one's sort of just a little bit of an off-cut. I'm just going to try and tie it in the middle and then spread it out a bit. Now I may have done the loops too small. Oops, start again. I'll leave them on my fingers to tie it this time. So we've had rain for the last week, and yesterday and today beautiful, but it's actually got quite warm again, so it sort of reminds you that spring is coming and then summer not too far away with the heat here in Australia. So the air cons will be turned on. And I'll cut that tail off. So it's just a bit of a loop there that I'm going to put down on top of that when I glue it, down like that, because I've got some vellum butterflies that I want to cut out and put on top there. So let me glue that down first. And if you don't have any thread, use some lace, something along those lines. I might get my fabric glue for that. I'm just going to put it in the middle there. And I'm just spanning it out a little bit. So getting like a bit of a butterfly effect, I guess, in a sense. Now these I've actually printed on vellum. So I just want to work out actually don't mind that one. I'll take the choice down to 2. Actually, I'll do like the yellow one as well. So I'll take the choice down to 3. I'll just cut those out. I'm going to leave a bit of a border around. So when you're fussy cutting, use this hand to turn and keep your scissors fairly stationary. One, you get a bit more control when you're doing the fine, intricate things. And I find it doesn't fatigue your hands as much either. So I don't know about you guys, but my hands never stop. So if I can look for ways to make them less fatigued at the end of the day, then the better. So that's one butterfly. I really like that one. And I think we might put a sentiment on this tag. And we might even use the whole 3 of these. So he looks good as well. I mean, if you love butterflies like I do, I think they all look good. They all add their own little thing. I think this one that I'm doing is called a monarch butterfly. Seems to be one of the most popular ones used in craft. And there's that one, but I do really like him, so I'll go with the popular one, and then the other ones we will make tags and put those on as well. But if you've got vellum and you've got images that you can print on, I actually bought these images from creativemarkets.com, And, you know, once you download them, you can use them as many times as you like. I actually pay for the commercial license, which is slightly dearer than the standard one. So if you're only going to use it for personal use, go with the cheaper one. But sometimes I'll create something for a digital download. So I want to know that, you know, I have the rights to use the license on there. So you're purchasing the license straight off the artist or the creator. Okay, so we're going to glue him on there. Just going to use art glitter. So it's, oh, I wasn't going to give up my pen. I was going to say I haven't used it in a week, so it's probably gone into shock. And my pin's getting quite bent up as well. Oh, there we go. I'll just give him a press for a couple of seconds. Beauty about art glitter, it dries fairly quickly. And I want the wings to stay up. I have glued out a bit from the body, but I don't want to glue the whole lot of the wings down. I may need to put a little bit more glue under. Just because we've got a few layers, because we've got the twine there, we do want part of the butterfly to adhere to the back, not just the cord. So it will also help keep the cord glued down as well. All right, so and then we want, we either want to label a number or a saying. Just putting the pin back in my glue. So anything to do with flying. Want him up a bit, I think. And you could always put a label under that as well. I don't want to take the feature away from the butterfly, so I'm going to leave it at that, and then you can put some cord up the top. The beauty about these is you can use the back of them to journal on as well. So I'm just going to ink the back of that, once again with walnut stain. Okay, so that's the first one done. So remember, we're using the stamp. So the stamping on this one was the background. The next one I'm going to do something a little bit different, and I'm going to grab some coffee dyed paper. So just a scrap of your coffee dyed paper. I'm going to stamp the grid on, I'll use archival because it dries quicker. Stamp it on the coffee dye paper, and then I'm going to tear around the edge without, just as close as you can and not straight. I want you to sort of try and weave in and out of the stamping. So we're going to make a cluster from this. So this will be our cluster base. So there's our cluster base. And we want to add ink around the edges on that one. And I'll ink around the edges on this one too. So it just gets rid of that stark, I call it white edges. I mean, it's obviously coffee dyed paper, but it just blends it so it doesn't look like a stark edge. Now I've got some lace here. Do I want to add some lace? Yep, I like that. Grab my material glue again. Fabric glue. This one I'm using is, the brand is Helmar's, and I really like it. I've been using it for a number of years now. And I may as well use fabric glue on this too, because we are sticking it to fabric. And I've pulled that down because I don't want to cover up too much of the grid. I really like the grid on that. Like that. So let's put this one down. So that you could leave in your stash just as a cluster. We're actually going to put it on the tag. So I just wanted to build it as a cluster first, because sometimes if you're going to start layering straight down on the tag, then it can actually interrupt with your creativity because you're trying to fill the whole space. But by just doing a cluster, we can always add another layer underneath, which I think we might do. If I keep, I'm just looking beside me, I've got a bit of, because I like the black on that and the black on that. Or we can go book page. I'm just going to ink both sides of this one. Too busy. So something a bit more paler. Keep these little bits, you'll use them on a cluster. So I'm using my glue stick for this one. Butterfly standing up by itself. So I like that, but I feel like it needs something else under it. And it could be something as simple as that. So not everything has to be a pattern. It can be just something fairly plain, like this is grid, but it's very faint lined. And we just want to cover up, you know, that starkness coming through there. But we're not trying to add any patterns to take away from the feature, which is the butterfly. Now I've got some numbers here that I could put along the bottom, which I really, really love. And these are, it's not even even, as you can see. This, I have just had a background number stamp, and I've stamped on this scrap of cardstock to use at a different time. And you can see that it'll just add that little something down the bottom, same as a label. Like, you could put a label across there. I'm inking the starkness out of that, so it's got a fairly even tone all over, and then I'll just go around the edge. Maybe a bit of lace under there. Or what have I got? A bit of material. Yeah, I really like that. So if you've got a scrap drawer with material off cuts or lace off cuts, just grab a handful like I've done, and have them on your desk. So that one down first, and then we're going to stick this one down, and I will use, as painful as it is because it's getting close to the edge and I have it stored upside down, I'll use the fabric glue since it's handy. That edge is fine, that one there, those two need to just trim off. You don't have to. But I'm going to for the purpose of this one. And then if you cut anything, make sure that you just get rid of those white edges. So that's number 2. You can see, beautiful. And number 3, I'm going to do the background again, but I'm going to do it in black. So up near the top, and then change it around and going down near the bottom, and the in between I'm going to leave. This is some coffee dye paper that I've stamped some images on again. And I really like that one. I'm just getting rid of the white or the borders on it because I just want the image. And I'm going to ink the tag before I glue that down. Just doing the edges this time with a fair bit of pressure. And then a bit of, just to blend it in. And any that goes over the side we will trim off as well. And then we want to put something over the side here. Just trying to think if our butterfly will. Yep, I like that. So we've got black print on both our things as well as the background. And then we've got to find something relatively plain. I might overlap him. Plain because we've got a very soft yellow butterfly that we're going to be using. Now I'm going to trim those off. Normally you'd wait for them to dry because you don't want to put too much glue on your scissors. It can blunt and wreck the blades and make them sticky, so it makes cutting a lot harder. So there's our tag there. So now we want to get something fairly plain. I'm just trying to think. Got a drawer here with, I'll show you. I've got some stamped butterfly images. That we could do that. I've got a grid here, I don't know whether bit busy, so it does need something plain under it, so I at least acknowledge that. See if I've got any shapes, or so I'm rummaging through a drawer if you wanted to see what I'm doing. It's sort of like all punched out bits, stuff that we're using on a different project. Don't mind that. Oh, we've got a circle. Don't mind the circle either. So what I basically go through, and you know, if you've got leftover stuff on your desk, I just get the punches out and punch it out. I like that. I'll save that for another tag though. Okay, let's go back. So I really liked the circle. So I'll ink that. And I'll ink these. I don't think I'm using them, but I'll ink them just so we can make a final decision. Another circle underneath, I think. There we go, like that. So like I said, guys, when you got scraps on your desk, don't throw them away or don't think of them as scrap. Get your punches out, because you know you can rummage through and you come up with an instant project or your stamped stuff. Okay, so let's glue that down. So with these, I have used 2 size circle punches, or maybe 3, and punched the small one out first and then got the bigger one over the top to get the rings. They just add some fun dimension to your projects. And I might go a bit darker edge on this fellow. Don't get a lot of wiggle room with the art glitter glue, so bear that in mind when you're gluing your pages down or your elements down. Put my pin back in and then we'll have a look at our tags. Just get rid of this page, back down to our fairly white page, just so you can see the 3 tags. And just the different effects that you can get using those background texture stamps. So this is the grid one that we used. So we've done a background in the oxide, just a faint one, just to add some texture so it looks like pattern paper. This one here, we stamped it on coffee dye paper and tore around it to be a base of a cluster. And then this one here, we stamped the back in black because we really wanted it bold to stand out. And I think I might put a word or a saying down the bottom there. What have we got? Maybe a label. Let's have a look here. Actually, I like this one. Start somewhere. Is it going to fit? It's not real straight because I can't get my head over it. That's better. And I'll just glue that down that I've pulled up. And I'll cut the edge off. It's a little bit wider than the tag, which is good because we've got an edge. It's going edge to edge, and I really like that look. So there we go, guys. Three little tags using the texture stamp and some vellum butterflies, and you get completely different looks on those. You know, you could just seeing if I've got some ribbon. I've got some sari silk here. So you could add some sari silk to the top. I'm using green here because it blends it all in. This one's got green on the tag, and I'll put some sari silk on the top of those ones as well. But there you go, guys. I hope that's inspired you. Really love this new stamp. So once again, it's Elizabeth Craft Designs CS364 called Textures, and I'm really looking forward to using some of these other. You've got a single triangle, a single square, and then you've got these blocks here, and then of course there's a number there, which we all love numbers. But thanks, guys. I hope you've really enjoyed today's video, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye.